Hi there. Hello. Welcome to Heal. Have an emotional anguish lifted. My name is Getchi. I am your host.
Host, yeah.
Something. Um, Today in the studio we have people who will hopefully stir some thinking in you, for you, or motivate some thinking regarding finances. But before I go on, I just need to introduce my chairmates in the studio. Go ahead.
Hi, I'm Sandy.
Okay.
I'm Chris.
This is Reverend Chris. Reverend Chris is my boss.
I don't like when you say that.
But he's my boss. But you're my boss.
And I'm Daniel.
Wait a minute. He got too comfortable. This is our special guest in the studio.
Alright,
Daniel, I was going to introduce you properly.
sorry.
Are you really sorry? Are you just... This is Daniel. Daniel is going to be he is our special guest today on today's episode. He's going to join the conversation regarding finances. More specifically, we're going to talk about bad things that happened with our finances. Things that went wrong, investments that went wrong, money that wasn't supposed to be lost that got lost, or overspending that happened, or just... But you just hang in there with us, okay? And just remember, you can always ask us questions, and we can address them. Oh, he'll address them because, by the way, Reverend Chris is going to give us his, what will I call it? Specialist opinion, thoughts? Because we're not specialists. We're just, but he's more specialist than we are, if anything. Sandy, kick us off.
Yeah, so, from our last episode, Reverend told us that we shouldn't be consumers,
Yeah. Yes, he did.
We should be leading some of decision makers. We should be the decision makers instead of receiving. So I think people nowadays are looking for ways in which they can make money, and therefore you can get trapped in certain business invitations
Traps.
where it might not have been a good idea for you to get yourself involved. So today I just want us to sort of like discuss whether we have gotten into any type of investment that we shouldn't have done in the first place and what lessons that we've taken out of. So my first question is for our guests. Have you invested?
guest. Don't mind me.
Don't
Go
worry.
on.
Don't worry.
Have you invested in or have made a business decision that affected you in a negative way?
Yeah, I have. I
Yeah.
have on two occasions. The first one, I think, was in 2019. So my elder brother is into Forex. And
Oh.
he taught me some part of it, and I thought I knew. So as at that point in time, he was investing in, he was trading in something they call indices, and had not learnt much about it. So I had some, I think, as at that time, my dad gave me some amount of money, and then I was like, oh, so long as my brother is there, I'll copy his trade and then begin to trade with it. And within, like, in the space of 3-4 hours, I'd lost over $350, just like that. And as at that time, I was in Ghana, so it was
That's a
we
lot
could
of money.
convert that into Ghana cedis.
It's a lot of money.
That's a lot.
And within 3-4 hours, everything was gone. And the other one,
Sorry, I'm not supposed to be laughing. I'm
after
sorry.
my dad's death. He left some amount of money, and I was giving part of it as being his son. And what happened was,
Inheritance money.
Squander it.
as at that time, I had friends who had invested into this motorcycle delivery business. And I was like, oh, why not try? Because the money was just there. If you put it as a bank treasury bill, something little. And I had wanted quick money. So
That's another
it's
one.
like, oh, why not invest in it? I was warned though, but I was like, no, I should take the risk because in business, if you don't take risk, you would never gain. So yeah, I invested, and if you don't have trustworthy people who are honest about such enterprise or business, you would run at a loss. Whereby probably the person is supposed to be making sales at the end of the week. The person can tell you, "Oh, I did not make
Nothing
anything."
came.
And this was the problem. I had a sister who owned a clothing business where these people go and pick up the clothes and then deliver them to people. Every morning, I have the list of people who these guys would deliver to. But they'll go and tell me, "Oh, they went there and they just got 3 packages to go deliver." I'll be like, "What are you talking about?" Like, "Oh, the rest there were mistakes with them. They had to bring them back to the shop and all of." My sister will be like, "No, that is not the issue. They sent them out and that was it. They've taken the money." They will be like, "Oh, there was a problem. The tire today, the oil, had to change oil today, this, that." And all the money I invested, I think I only got something about the money I invested. I got about 25% of the money. The
Ouch.
rest,
Ouch. That was a loss. That was a major
huge
loss.
loss. Yeah.
That was a major, but I hear you mentioning sister. I hear you mentioning other people. And I think that's the other thing about these financial engagements where we automatically assume that just because we are investing with family that everything is cool. We don't have to do the extra study. We don't have to pay close attention. I mean, I don't know. Have you had a situation where you trusted family too much with
One of the first principles in business is never ever work with family.
Okay.
And when I say never work with family, I'm saying that never work on the principle of family. Because when family owes you, family will dictate when and how they'll pay you.
they're never in a rush to pay back,
And
that's for
that
sure.
that is not ideal for business. So you don't work with family in that. It could be family, but so long as they understand that we are working on business and we are not family or working on principle of business, then that's fine. But if they are going to work as family, then don't. I mean, there's no way I give my brother, if I'm to tell you the number of things I've invested in my brother and got nothing, you will be amazed. I was in first year, second year university when I got a phone call from, the usual phone call, distress phone call.
Right, okay.
Your brother is struggling. There's nothing for him to do. Try and help him. And I was a struggling student. I had to pay my own school fees. So I was working around the clock. I'm sure I've told you the story. I was working around the clock to pay my school fees, to pay my rent, and to live and to school. And I had to, first of all, he came with a oil business. He had found this, what do you call it? Coconut oil, that business and whatever. Came up with a big business plan, strategy, whatever. And half of my school fees was invested in that. And we never saw a penny.
Wow. That's painful for your brother to do that.
A year later, and see, it was based on my mom being
course.
the one that
Always.
is the person who comes the
Says,
forefront,
yes,
say, help your brother.
That famous last words.
We bought a taxi for this guy, and he drove the taxi to the floor. And when there's anything spoiled on the taxi, he comes back to you for money to repair.
Right,
but I never got a pound out of the taxi. And I was still a student trying to struggle to, and that is why I say that never invest with family, because even till today, this is more than 30, 40 years ago, and there's no way I can go ask my brother,
where's my money?
Where's the return on the investment?
There's no way it's like he turns around and says that you've never ever helped me in your life. You've never done anything for, because
wow.
Amnesia. You get it. So you don't
money.
And like what Daniel was talking about, somebody said, never invest on somebody's head.
Wow.
There is something
you
called
catch that? Never-
research. If you haven't researched the market, you haven't researched the business, please don't invest. It is not every investment that is worth even thinking about. It may sound good, it may look good, so others would have gone in and done well, but that doesn't mean that when you go in, you're going to do well. Have you
That's
researched
true.
the
That's a good
market?
point.
Do you know what you are getting yourself into? Do you know? Have you done your own analysis? Can you? The Bible says that which one of you intending to build a house, or which king intending to go to war, will not first sit down and count the cost to see whether they have enough, or else they will start, and when they in the middle, they will see they don't have enough resources, and they will not be able to complete it, and people will laugh at them. You don't go and start something without first sitting down and counting the cost. Business is not for weak, and it's not for haphazard, type of mindset. You have to, and like you were saying that you lost $300 in 2 hours. I can guarantee you that if you had stayed and stuck with it maybe for another 5 hours, for another 5 days, you probably would have recovered your money and gained more profit. But you see,
Yeah, exactly. But that's the
you
thing.
panic.
We don't know.
You
Yeah.
panic
The
and
uncertainty
you
is just
get
too
out,
much.
and like I would say, it's not for a weak mind.
No, at all.
Because
No.
losing out in business is part of success. Failure is always part of the success story. So sometimes you may have gotten your fingers bent. It doesn't mean that the business is bad. It means that you probably didn't do your right research.
I was gonna say,
Now that you have
research.
done your research, it's like when you fail, you know how not to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you understand? You know
Yeah.
what not to do anymore. So which means that you are decreasing your probability of failing again. Do you understand? Now the next time you try the same thing, chances are you're going to do better than you did because you know where you went wrong. That's how business is. Business is good when you have done your research and also learn to stick. Learn not to be chased off by the first crisis.
Okay. I want to ask Daniel. Okay, so you talked about that loss, and I imagine that you first of all got into it because you thought my family, my sister's in this, and surely what can go wrong. But I want to ask, what was your preparatory process? In other words, what research did you do? What skills did you feel like, okay, I have enough of this skill that I can, that made you feel confident enough to actually invest your money? Because I feel like a lot of times we just kind of throw in our investment, our money on a hope, on a let's see what happens. Did you what was your process?
All right. So, for my part of the world, hardly would people do as Reverend was saying, do some sort of research. You just go by the wind. People are saying this is good, so you ask a few friends who are into, it's good, you should try it out. Oh, it's good. So for example, with the forex thing, my elder brother was doing so well in it. I could see him make money, and that was how he got married, through forex trading and all of that. So I felt, copying his trade and then using it automatically.
You should get the same returns.
But it never worked out. I don't know how, but and I think it was more like I thought, he had taught me the initial things. So the phase I knew one or two things about it. So I thought, that was it. If anything, if my trading is going somewhat, I'll be able to have some sort of discussions with him. And so I was so confident in copying his trade that so long as I am copying his trade, I am going to win. That was what I felt. But sometimes he also make losses. So that was the mistake.
Did he make you aware that sometimes
that was one? Yeah.
I was just copying his trade. He was like,
go.
you can feel sometimes you make losses. So just be mindful. I was like, okay.
Oh, he actually told you to be mindful,
he said-
but so you were just kind of, but you didn't see yourself being the one that lost out. That you didn't anticipate the loss.
What it is most of the time we look at the glamour side of the thing.
That's it.
Yeah. Oh, you see, when you put 5 in, you're going to get 10. When you put 10 in, you're going to get. So we don't really concentrate on what if.
Right.
Yeah, we look at the glamorous side of it, but life is the glamorous side is only 20%. It's the where you don't see. You know, like you go to a restaurant. The real restaurant is not when the food is served. It's the meal prep, meal, the cooking,
Hygiene and all that stuff.
It's like it's a whole lot of things that goes on behind the scenes before the presentation and the eating of the meal.
Yeah.
So when you're going to business, don't concentrate on what you see.
Wow.
Go down to the roots. You know, the root is what determines the height of the tree. So the roots of the business is more important than the height.
I want to pose the fact that a lot of times when people go into business as a side hustle, let's just say, it's for quick returns. We're not really thinking about the pros and cons as much as how quickly can I get my return. What are you saying to people who have thought, if I just waited maybe just a little bit, maybe another day or two, studied a little bit, talking about like studying the craft, the art, whatever it is that you're about to invest in. Like, what do you say to people that have just kind of rushed into it without, thinking about?
I'll start by what you just said. The Bible says, study to show yourself approved.
Okay.
When you study, then you become approved. It doesn't matter whether it's a side hustle, second, third, fourth side hustle. Always lead by studying. Because
Always lead by
approval
studying.
comes from studying.
Powerful.
Make sure that whatever, it could be the most simplest or the most basic business you can think of. I remember I was on holiday. I just finished school and I came to the UK for holiday. And then I went back. I'd finished school. I wanted to apply for uni. So I came for holiday. I applied for uni when I was on holiday. My visa had run out, so I had to go back. And when I went back, I was going back to wait on my admission and all that to process and come back to school. And as soon as I got back, I had come here, I'd worked a little bit, so I had some money. And as soon as I got back, the first thing I thought of was to do sell ice creams. And we had a little shop in front of the house. And this same shop, my sister had tried selling ice creams there. And it failed. She tried selling, like drinks and all that. It didn't work. And so at the time I got there, the shop was shut. So I went in, put my money in the same shop, bought ice creams from whatever the company, put music, got boom speakers and all that music, started, music, and then I had a few friends who come and sit around, and then so the place became a spot. So now everybody was coming. So it's the same business that a few months ago my sister had folded up. I came back from my holiday with the monies, just with a little tweak of putting a little bit of music and then having a few friends to sit around. And all of a sudden, it was a spot. Everybody was coming down. Ooh, why don't you add some drinks to it? Why don't you add biscuit? Why don't you add this one?
Wow.
And then it started working. 3 months, between 3 months, my admission, visa, whatever, so I had to leave. So I left the shop to my sister. Within a couple of months, the business failed.
You either got it or you don't.
So it's same business, same principle,
different leadership.
same, just sit here, man it. When the money come, buy more. but it didn't work. Why? Because she had a way of doing it. Yes, it's there.
mindset.
It's like,
Yeah.
what do you want?
Yeah, no
But-
customer service.
I mean, I'd come here at the time I worked in the Plaza cinemas, so I'd learn customer service, how to chat, engage with people, you know, how you do, how's your day, and all that type of
Yeah.
thing. And people like that. Wherever in the world, when you show customer service, everybody,
Yeah.
you know, and there's music. Oh, I like that song. Oh, yeah, can you play that song again? You know, simple things like that. And the place was booming. Somebody else took over.
It changed everything.
Would passion also fall into it? You have to have
I think so.
passion.
I think so.
yeah.
So did you have passion for your?
He just wanted
I like
make
you. Oh,
money.
you're just looking for
It was-
money.
it was a quick
Quick
return.
return. For quick returns. I feel like. Yeah.
And I think to add to what Reverend was saying, one thing I've realized about investment and business is you need to count the cost and weigh the odds to see if it works for you or if you can do it. I'm saying this because I think around COVID, that's 2020, there was, I don't know, what my best friend and I, he saw it and then he came to tell me, oh, Dan, there's this company, insurance company in Ghana, and they've brought up a new deal. We should go and listen to it. So we went for their conference about 4 or 5 times. And what they were doing was you invest some sort of money and then you bring 5 people as your downline.
Pyramid scheme.
So I remember. Oh,
No.
we went and
Stay away.
anytime we go, the way they talk to us, we were so encouraged, we were so motivated. They even brought cars that they had to give to people. We saw that we went for one of their dinners and they gave their cars to people.
Yes, to their friends.
Brand new cars. They gave them to people. So we're like, oh, bring the 5 downlines, and then if you bring your first 5 downlines, the money you invested will be given back to you. So it was his friend who took us there. So we were his downlines. We saw the company give his money to him. Now the question is,
It will
how are
never
we going-
get to you.
how are we
When is it gonna get to us?
How are we going to raise our
Your capital.
downlines, our 5 people? Because
Wow.
now you'd have to ask yourself, am I going? The amount of money they asked us to raise that we invested as at that time, I think COVID getting 2,000. I remember that amount, 2,150 in Ghana cities was very difficult because there was no job anywhere. And I remember it was one of my cousins who gave that money to me. He was like, oh, Danny, I told her, I convinced him, give the money to me, this, that. But you give me like 3 months, I'll get the money back for you. He's like, okay, if you say so, just take the money. They gave me that money, 2,000.
The longest, the short of the story is that you didn't get the money back.
I was not even able to convince one person.
We talked about doing the research in order to get into these things. You know, I want to just point to the fact that you're laughing about this now,
Yeah.
but I know that at the time
Was not
you wanted to
You weren't
hang
smiling.
you wanted to hang somebody somewhere, and that's the other thing. It's living in that regret, in that space of regret, you know, because one, you didn't do the research, 2, you just followed the trend, and you just figured, well, this person, it worked for this person, it will therefore work for me. And also, I think timing is a big factor as well. You know, is this the right time for this investment? Is this the right time for this deal? And how successful can this thing be?
Yeah.
I know you guys saw me and Sandy do the whole pyramid schemes.
Don't worry.
Run the other way, opposite from the scheme. Run the other way. Never, ever, ever.
Yeah.
I don't think.
Don't entertain.
Don't
it.
even.
Someone calls you and say, I was told about this. Because they're coming to me to bring me. Now I need to now go bring someone.
But it's never
Last
one person
week-
you're bringing. You're
Yeah.
bringing 5 other people.
Last week, one of my friends called me up and says, "Oh, this UW utility is doing this scheme whereby for house owners, yeah, because it knows that we have the
How
house.
convenient.
So I said, let me pause you there. I do not know anyone that owns a house
Yeah.
that I can convince them to switch their energy provider to so please, I'm the wrong person. But I had to shut it down
Yeah.
then and there because I cannot entertain that conversation because they sweet talk you. I know that
Sweet
how
talking.
it is.
That's another
They
one.
sweet
Sweet
talk
talking.
you, give you false hope, and then
False hope.
you find yourself in, and you would stay away from pyramid scheme. That's
Another one to stay away from. You go holidays, and these people come and sell you holiday. You can
Packages.
buy this particular package.
that you can go on a holiday.
You own this place
holidays for a year.
Yeah, and all that. All garbage.
Don't listen.
Because at some point you will tap your credit card once again.
Yeah, it's
And
all
we talked
garbage.
about that whole credit card situation. It's like it's a hole. It's just it's a messy hole. Goodness me! I'm just flashing back to all these offers of.
I think that we shouldn't downplay investment and business.
Okay.
We are talking about like bad businesses and all that, but there
There's
are
a good
some
side?
good businesses
Talk to
that
us.
you can go in that can do well.
Okay.
You know, one of the businesses that you must always think about, like you were talking about, do you have passion for it? Is there a service to provide? Are you passionate about providing the service? Never ever go into business wanting to make money,
Yeah.
because that's a wrong motive for going into business.
Wait, say that again. Never
Ever go into business with the motive of making money.
Then what's the?
Money is a reward for service.
Okay.
Money is a reward for a job well done. So you must go into business to provide the job,
Service.
the service. If your motive is the service, I have seen a need, I want to answer the need.
Yeah.
Money will find you if you are doing well in meeting
I
the
agree.
need.
Okay.
You understand? But when you go into business with the mind to make money, like he was saying, there's no way you're going to be successful because first, you are not motivated. 2, you are not passionate. 3, you haven't got in your mind to meet a need.
That mindset. Yeah.
Do you understand? So where is money finding you?
Okay.
You get it. So is there a need to meet? And am I passionate about meeting that need? Do I have the resources it takes to meet the need successfully? You know,
That's
like I mean, even in church,
okay.
I say to pastors, let's say there are 4 of us, 4 pastors.
Amen. Say
We
amen.
all provide a service.
Right.
Yeah.
But out of the 4 of us, one will be more successful than the rest, depending on which one of us is more motivated in meeting the needs of people.
Okay.
Yeah, some people go into the ministry for status. They go into ministry so that they'll have a name. They go into ministry so
That's
that
true.
they'll have. So there are different motivations, you know. But success will only find the one that is passionate about meeting the needs that people have the most.
So you're saying that for people who are like wondering, where did I go wrong? Just peel back and see what was the foundation of this thing that I invested in, or what was the foundation or the motivation for my investment. Was it to meet a need? Was it to make money? Because ultimately, if it's not to meet a need, then you're literally gambling on an idea.
I had a funny conversation with 2 people.
Okay.
I was in Africa a few weeks ago, and I saw this young lady selling water on the middle of the traffic, and she was speaking so good English, very good English, and I was like very fascinated. So I actually, I wasn't buying. I think she was talking to somebody next car. So actually, the traffic lights changed. So I honked and told her to follow me. So I parked, and then she came, and I said, "Oh, what are you doing selling water on the traffic? When you speak, obviously you are very eloquent and all that. So people get very thirsty when they are in traffic. So I want to, help them. Like, so it's just water, but the way she spoke,
Yeah.
I invested in a water business.
Wow.
I gave him money. I didn't buy any water. I invested. Listen, take this money, put it in your business.
Wow. Powerful.
Because it's water. It's just bottled water. There are a lot of people carrying bottled water. They are survival.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
She is carrying the same water, but she has a motive of
Solutions.
giving solution, bringing
Needs.
relief to people who are in hot traffic.
And the fact that she was able to come up with that on the whim means that it's actually what is motivating her to do it, right? She didn't have to think about
I've never ever given more than a pound to anybody selling on the roadside. Because I feel that they are nuisance. I feel that they are a risk to what do you call it? The motorists, because you don't know
Yeah.
when you're going to jam them, or they will jam your wind mirror or something. So but this particular person stood out. Then another guy was selling coconut, and I became a regular. I was buying from him all the time because this guy had the greatest personality. Always talking about different things. He'd be talking about women, talking about life, talking about this. So I just pack, and then he would take his time putting the coconut in a bottle, the water in a bottle, and then getting me the. And he was like, where's the chief? And you get me.
Yeah.
That's some and
his customer service.
I was about to say customer service amazing.
Always had something to say. Always had something, and his personality, big personality, always talking about different things, and I just look forward anytime I'm going past to.
Yeah.
Very true.
So it's not what you are doing; it's the service you are providing, the passion with which you are doing it, and money will always find you when you have those things.
I want to draw our attention before we finish this episode about learning from past mistakes, okay?
Yeah.
So there's the issue of not having done the research.
Yeah.
There's the issue of doing it just for the sake of doing it. Then there's also the issue of loss. All those things those are real life issues that happen with financial investment, financial decisions, bad or good. But in terms of lessons learned, so if you've made these errors, how do you recover from the lesson? I mean, obviously devastation of losing money, but how do you recover? How do you rebuild? How do you move forward? I don't know what you did to move forward. What did you do to to get over the fact that, and I don't say get over it because that sounds very blasé, but what did you do to be like, okay, all right, that one is a loss. We got to move on. What did you do to keep yourself going?
All right. So one thing I did was I said to myself, mistakes do happen.
Okay.
We are humans, and so long as we are humans, we are bound to make mistakes.
Okay.
And that you must find ways and means to get over it. Would I invest again? Of course I will. I would always take the risk. But I would...
You're a risk taker.
Yes.
Okay.
But I would make sure this time round I do my research. I make sure I can do this. I have that passion for it. And no matter what it is, I would be able to work it out. If not, I would not go into it. So yes, I'll take the risk. However, this time around, I'm going to do a little bit of more research about it, and to assess whether I would be able to do it if this best fits the personality I am or the person I am. If not, I wouldn't.
So informed risk taking is what you're saying.
Yeah.
Sandy, what's your MO?
I think
If you've
I mean I've
you seem like somebody,
I think I've got a good head on in terms of managing finance.
What are you trying to say about Daniel?
I definitely do pros and cons before I make decisions. Like even big purchases, I don't just buy because I can buy. I don't just go for it because I can. I look at the pros and cons first, and then I look beyond the now. So then I look at how it's going to affect me in the next 3 months. Decisions that I make, I think about the future first. So I think anyone that is thinking of investing or thinking of creating a business, you shouldn't just think about the right now. You should think about how it's going to affect you in the next coming weeks, in the next coming months, in the next coming years. Because as Reverend said, you might not get your return on investment today, but doesn't mean that in 3 months' time you will not get that reward. So it takes passion, it takes dedication. You have to have the time, you have to give it time, because even when you plant, you have to water it, the sun has to come on it before it grows. You don't plant and then you get the fruit. So you need to have that heart of patience and then you have to work at it. And or sometimes you also have to not listen to outside noise, because people may give the 2 pence into something that you feel really passionate about, or you feel that this is what I've been called to do. But sometimes when you listen to outside noises, it may discourage you, because I've had to shut noises out in my own life where I've made decisions where I felt that God was steering me into that particular direction. If I had listened, I would not be where I am.
I agree.
So I think you have to know yourself, and you also have to have these kind of conversations with yourself as well to, when you're making such big decision, because investing in something is a big decision and it's a big commitment.
I would go as far as even adding that, knowing your why at all times. Why am I doing this? Why am I putting this money aside? Why am I agreeing to invest in this? Why am I doing this knowing I don't know anything about? So, like, what is your why? Answer your why at every stage. I think for me, that has helped me a lot. Not to say I haven't made some errors, but even when I make those mistakes, because I'm very adamant about knowing my why, the mistakes don't knock me off as they used to when I was younger. So now I'm just like, okay, maybe that wasn't the right, but I knew my why. And that's why I went ahead with it. I went ahead with it because I saw beyond my investment. That it didn't work out this time, okay, but I knew my why. So nobody made me, nobody coerced me to do anything. I make sure that I've done my research, I know my why, and I know why I've put my money where that thing goes. So Bishop, talk to us about, just help us out, just to close us out of this episode, about what is it that we do or we should do.
So we've talked about this in the past, that failure has two destinations. You either fail backwards or you fail forwards.
Okay.
When you fall, how you fall is very important.
Wow.
When the business fails, how you receive it is very important. Do you receive it backwards or do you receive it forwards? Somebody who fails backward is like, my fingers have been bent. I will never
did it again.
go near this again.
Yeah.
I heard Daniel say that I will invest again. And I said in my mind that's failing forward. Because now he says, I'm going to do more research. I'm going to do more because I know where I went wrong. So I'm going to give myself a little bit more chances of succeeding. And that is how you fail. So failure is not an end. Failure is only a stage.
Okay.
On the destiny to success.
Well, I like that.
It's how you look at the failure. Do you fail backwards or do you fail forward? Do you, because of this, I would never trust any family member. Because of this, I would never ever do this work type of, I would never, you are failed backwards.
Okay.
Never to rise.
Okay.
Yeah.
But what were the lessons, like you were saying? What are the lessons? It's a failure, right? Yeah, but I've learned some lessons.
Right.
And these are going to equip me to do better next time.
Right.
So it's not the failure that's important. It's how you take the failure. What lessons have I learned? What has it equipped me with to go and do what I'm doing?
Right.
And that's what makes you succeed.
Listen, I said at the start of this episode that it's not about us being experts. We're just sharing our insights and we're sharing what we think, what worked for us and we hope could work for you. But you have to do your research. Like, we shouldn't be going into things without doing research. Whatever, and every aspect of life, take time to do a little bit more research to sort of pad yourself as much as possible. I mean, life happens, right? So you never know. But at least when life happens, you can say, well, I gave it my best. I did my research. I knew my why. I knew my when, and I knew my purpose, so that, you can keep going. The devastation isn't as horrible as it could be. Send us your questions. I have a feeling that there'll be a little bit more discussion that could be had based on this topic. I want to thank you, Dan, for coming and joining us in the studio today. I thank you, Bishop, for your insight.
I work here.
Ever present.
I work here.
We appreciate you so much. I want to thank you for giving us your ears. And I also want to thank you for allowing us to give you our thoughts. We'll see you next time in next episode. Take care. Bye.
Bye.